What if the path to living a more vibrant and empowered life, full color, wasn't about doing more, but doing things in a way that matters? Welcome to Say Yes with Kat. If you're ready to move from surviving to thriving, and you want doable tools that honor your whole self, mind, body, and spirit, you're in the right place. Are you ready to say yes? Let's dive in. Hey friends, welcome to the 13th episode of Say Yes with Kat. Today, we're going to tackle this number that's gotten a bad rap for centuries, 13. I want to supercharge this number together. Too often, superstition around this number takes away our calm, and it can really spark like some psychological stress. So let's reclaim it right now with a quick traditional Chinese medicine rooted shift. I want you to think of the number 13. Now, take a deep inhale and repeat after me. No number and no superstition is going to control my inner calm. Now exhale. Let's do it one more time. No number and no superstition controls my inner calm. Welcome to the club and to our Supercharged 13th episode. I want to talk about something near and dear to my heart today, mental health. More specifically, I want to talk about the number one mental health challenge worldwide, anxiety. And there's a reason why we're covering this. It's our Supercharged series. Mental health is the foundation for everything else in our lives, our relationships, our energy, even our immune system. In traditional Chinese medicine, the mind and the spirit, which we're going to refer to as Shen, the Shen resides in the heart. So that means our heart is what's guiding our capacity for joy, our emotional resilience, and our inner calm. But when anxiety walks in the door and takes hold, it taxes that heart and it tangles these energy channels all up and it seeps into every corner. So what happens when we are challenged in our heart is our digestion starts to suffer, our sleep completely falls apart, and our immune defenses just weaken. They check out. And that's why I think honoring mental health as one of our 8 pillars of holistic health for the Supercharged series is so important. If we can take small, consistent practices that nourish our heart, then in turn, we will restore the balance to the mind, the body, and the spirit. We're going to start this journey by really understanding what anxiety is. I'm not talking about this occasional worry that you might have. I want to explore the entire experience so you can really start to identify what this is. So let's start with kind of the focus and the duration. And we're going to separate what a worry is from anxiety. When we worry about something, it's generally tied to something specific. So you might have in your head, I'm worried about doing this podcast today. And it's something that's going to come and go, and circumstances around it are going to change. So worry is kind of this specific concern. Anxiety is more diffused and more persistent. So you're feeling generally unsettled, even when you can't identify like the obvious trigger. And you're going to worry about everything and nothing all at the same time. Sometimes this can go on for weeks or months, and for some people, even years. Another way you can try to identify, am I anxious about something or am I worrying about something, is paying attention to the language that you're using in your head. So if we're worried about something, we kind of start to go through this loop of, if this happens, then that's going to happen. So we're looping around a specific situation. Maybe you kind of feel a loss of control when you're worrying about something and you start to talk yourself down. And when the issue resolves, you shift your focus and you don't do that anymore. So again, the worry is about something specific. When we're feeling anxious, we start to have these like racing, uncontrollable thoughts, and they're more catastrophic. This is more hectic and sporadic, and the thoughts are coming one after the other, and they're not about something specific. So it could be, what if I don't get that job? What if I don't get the job and then I lose my house? What if I lose my house and then I can't find anywhere to stay? So you can see it's jumping from topic to topic, and it really starts to feel overwhelming. This is anxiety. Let's also talk about where we feel these emotions in our body. When we're worried, we kind of have this like mild muscle tension. Maybe we feel it in the forehead or we feel it in the jaw. It's just kind of this slight tensing. We might feel restless, like we can't sit still, versus anxiety. With anxiety, that's something we're starting to feel in our chest. It tightens up and our breathing becomes more shallow. Maybe you feel butterflies or kind of this upset churning in your stomach. Your heartbeat could become more rapid. You might start sweating or even trembling in your hands or your legs. Headaches and dizziness can come on with anxiety. And you just feel this sense of like you're on the edge level of alertness. For our supercharged methods to work, we really need to be able to separate worry from anxiety. So here's a quick self-check you can do. Sit quietly and scan your body and recognize where is tension living. Is it in your head? And does it ease when you change what you're focused on? Then that's going to be worry. Or are you feeling this emotion in your chest, maybe in your belly, or your limbs sort of like lock up, or maybe your heart's pounding? That's anxiety. Some of you might not know this about me. I'm a master medical Qigong practitioner. What that means is I spent about 1,000 hours of study and several years learning to understand traditional Chinese medicine. And that is what we're going to be rooting our small shift in today. So we need to understand how traditional Chinese medicine looks at worry and anxiety. It starts with the word energy. In ancient China, they noticed that people were impacted by things we can't see, and they called it energy. And they began to study this energy and map how it flows in our body. And through that, they could then nurture the root of the issues the person was having for overall wellness and well-being. So let's take a minute and break down how anxiety and worry are showing up energetically in the body. Let's start with worry. Again, this is the specific issue where we're kind of overthinking things. And the emotion of worry lives in our spleen. And this leads to digestive issues, maybe loose stool, extreme fatigue, and a mind that just won't let go of details. So whenever we're mentally ruminating on something, we are damaging the energy in our spleen, and that is why we have these particular issues. Anxiety, on the other hand, is showing up in the heart and the liver. So we talked earlier about the Shen living in the heart, the mind, and the spirit. When our Heart Shen is imbalanced and disturbed, it's showing up as insomnia. We might be experiencing heart palpitations. Our mind is racing at night. And anxiety is also living in the liver. When our liver energy becomes stagnant, we become irritable. Our chest is more likely to feel tight, and we have a tendency to kind of feel like stuck or frustrated. When you start to be able to name what you're experiencing, I'm overthinking my kid's schedule is a worry, versus I feel like my chest is caving in for no clear reason, that's anxiety. When you can start to name what you're feeling, then you will be able to pick the small shift that's going to help you the most. Are you ready for some supercharged practices? They're quick, they're science-backed, rooted in traditional Chinese medicine, and I'm going to put them in a free workbook that you can find via a link in the show notes. The first one we're going to practice is called Circling the Cauldron. This is really good for those of us that are worrying and need to work on our spleen energy. It's just a gentle abdominal massage. So you'll begin by placing both of your hands on your stomach, and you're going to move them around the stomach in a clockwise motion. So clockwise as if you have a clock on your stomach and it's facing out. So you would be going towards the left side of your body. And as you massage your stomach gently, I want you to start to feel connected to your stomach, to your digestion, and think about pulling in energy to allow it to flow freely and start to ease what you are overthinking. This is a really good exercise to offload our mental clutter and also start to support our digestion. The second one that we're going to do is called Embracing the Tree. So this one is really good for our Heart Shen, for our anxiety. It's simple. You're going to stand with your feet about hip width apart, and then you're going to bring your arms up and kind of round them as if you're hugging a tree. Then you'll breathe softly, and you're going to inhale for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1, and then exhale for a count of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you'll just repeat that a few times, and you'll start to feel a calming sensation, this kind of peace and serenity come in, and it should begin to soothe those racing thoughts that you're having. The next one is great for calming our entire system, getting our nervous system kind of feeling nurtured again. It's just a morning standing. You can do this for about 2 to 5 minutes. So you'll stand in a comfortable position. Again, our feet are kind of hip width apart. And you're going to inhale while you lift your arms overhead. And then as you exhale, you're going to slowly lower them by your side. So I want you to kind of imagine a big, beautiful bird with those large wings, and it moves really slowly. And we're just inhaling our arms all the way up overhead and exhaling, allowing them to lower down by our sides. Even this small, brief practice has been shown to reduce anxiety markers in clinical studies. It's really powerful. The last one is a little bit of acupressure. So you're going to draw your attention to kind of where your wrist bends and creases. And I want you to put 2 fingers above that crease. And then you're just going to hold firm pressure for about a minute or 2 on the left side and also on the right side. Again, there's been a lot of clinical trials that show that this can reduce anxiety with regular use. If you're not quite sure where that point was that I was talking about, don't worry, I'm going to include a picture in the workbook for you. So now that we've talked about what anxiety and worry is and what the differences are, where we feel it in the body, and how it's showing up energetically, I hope you can pick from these different supercharged practices I've given you to fit what you're experiencing. You can rotate through them. Consistency is the secret here. By practicing these movements, they become available to you in the moments that you really need them, and that muscle memory can just kind of kick in. So, the last thing I want to talk about, at the very beginning, I mentioned that anxiety is the #1 mental health challenge worldwide. We all need to remember, anxiety is a human signal. It is our mind telling us that we care about things, that we are also part of a caring community, and we are not alone. So I encourage you, share your experiences with friends and family, or you can join a private Facebook group and meet people where they're at, and just try to connect with a friend who really gets it and understands what you're going through. I hope you find this podcast helpful. Your challenge for the week is to choose just one of the 4 practices and do it for 5 minutes every day this week. Just 5 minutes. I mean, we spend that waiting in line for coffee some days. If you want to earn some bonus points on this challenge, keep a journal. Do that body scan. Think about where anxiety, if it's anxiety, where worry, if it's worry, is living in your body, and the symptoms that you might be experiencing with it. Maybe rate it. And then do these practices and journal. Write down if you're experiencing any shifts and any improvements from the practices themselves. I really hope you got a lot out of this supercharged podcast today. Coming up, we're going to be talking about why mushrooms deserve a spot in your pantry and holistic hacks for workday sanity. I'd love to hear from you. Please, please, please share with me how these practices worked out for you. You can do it in our Facebook group or on the TikTok comments, or like and subscribe, whatever works for you. Just let me know how this small change worked for you this week. And before you leave, please share the wealth of health by liking and subscribing to our channel. And remember, this is your journey. It's all about taking these small, meaningful steps towards a healthier, happier you, full color. Until next time, say yes to your well-being and take care.
The content of this podcast is for educational, informational purposes only and is not intended as medical advice. Please consult a licensed healthcare provider before beginning any new health practice. Do not ignore or delay seeking medical advice because of something shared in this episode. If you're experiencing a medical emergency, call 911 or visit your nearest emergency room. Listening does not create a practitioner-client relationship. Yes to Holistic Health makes no guarantees regarding outcomes based on the information provided. Copyright notice, Yes to Holistic Health, all rights reserved. This content may be shared for nonprofit educational purposes with credit to Yes to Holistic Health. No commercial use without written permission.